And we're live!
Woo. We're here with Judge Bryant, tattoo artist, politician, ex-Jehovah's Witness, and just all around awesome, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dude, yes. So we got so much to talk about. I am like so excited about this. So first, I guess just let's get the big issue out of the way, okay? Tattooing. I love your work. I've seen a ton of it. I think my wife's got some of your work. Like, it's awesome. How'd you get started in it?
I got started in it just by getting tattooed myself.
Yeah.
Just, as a young wee lad, about 19 years old, got my first armband tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
Just shortly after my 19th birthday, my mom was like, let's take you downtown. Looked at a couple different shops.
Yeah.
Some of them I didn't quite have the mojo vibe that I liked, but finally landed myself at Lotus Tattoo, and Heather, later to be my mentor, gave me my first tattoo.
Yeah, that's so cool that she gave you your first tattoo, and like that's freaking awesome.
That's really cool. It took, I guess, I bartended for a long time, and then when getting tattooed visibly became a problem for the bar, I looked at a different direction and kept harassing Heather and all them to please apprentice me.
Yeah,
I can draw a little.
Yeah.
So after being just basically a shop hangaround for a long time, I worked part-time at Cracker Barrel as a prep cook, and then executed my apprenticeship under Heather, and in no time I was tattooed away. Now it's a 12-year and counting career.
That's awesome.
So I enjoy it.
What was the tattoo that your work was just like, oh, this is getting extreme? Like, where was the line for them?
My neck tattoo. Actually, this one, which is quite small compared to this one.
Dude, it says mommy, dude. Like, this one right here, and they're like, dude, it's a bit
and
much.
it was a bar. I was the bar manager, for Pete's sake, and they're like,
what in the world,
it's just ridiculous. And it was, and I'm not ashamed to say it was Applebees.
Applebees.
Dude, fuck Applebees, man. I almost got freaking... Me and a bunch of my friends got kicked out of there one time by an off-duty cop.
Really?
He called all of his friends... Like, seriously, we weren't doing anything. We had a couple of our waitresses. It was a Thursday night at 11 o'clock at night at Applebees. And this guy walks in with his family. He's an off-duty cop. We didn't know. He sits at the booth right next to us. And, I mean, this is right at the Dickson one, obviously. And we're just sitting there having a good time. We had a couple drinks. Like, one of our friends couldn't drink, so nobody was drunk, clearly. And, like, he stands up, and he walks over to our table, and he says, if y'all guys don't stop cussing and shit, I'm going to whip some ass.
Like
he said that.
Wow.
Quote, verbatim. And we was like, all right, I mean, I get it. You got your family here. We'll calm down.
Cool, bro. Cool.
And
Family bar.
We went back to our business. He comes back, and he's like, all right. And he just whipped his badge out and flops it on the table. And my friend had a couple of more shots of tequila or whatever than everybody else, and he was like, what is that? What are you gonna do with that? He's like, you got handcuffs? You want to cuff me? And the dude just walks away, and then probably not even 10 minutes later, 3 cops walk in.
Oh man!
To the Applebee's. 3 freaking cops.
You just sent out the text message like, listen here.
Yeah, and they
gotta show this out.
They go, y'all need to come outside with us. And I was like, we haven't paid yet. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
So we paid, we tipped, and they escorted us out.
Dang.
And we talked to them in 3 different cop cars in the parking lot.
What about the range, boys? Let's get to the
we get out there, and they're like, we're gonna have to bring the dogs to search your car. And my friend was like, do it, because we didn't have nothing.
Wow.
We didn't have nothing on us at all. And he was like, bring the dogs. And the other guy was like, no, we don't need to do that.
Oh my gosh.
And they let us go.
Good.
There were people sitting outside cheering at us, like clapping.
Wow.
I was like,
what is that? 11 o'clock at night, you bring your family into a bar, what do you expect?
Exactly.
Yeah, and then the little foul language.
Yeah. I mean,
and then nowadays they market Applebee's as sort of a bar-y place.
Granted, they have changed their atmosphere. At that time, they were bought by a couple that, I don't know if they still own it, but they had a bunch of IHOP franchises. So when they toured the restaurants, she actually came to Dickson. I waited on her. She tipped me $50.
$50?
But then the next day, the memorandum: no visible tattoos in the front of the house.
Maybe she was like, look, let's go in and give this guy $50.
A little hush money.
Yeah, I've said my piece.
Oh my god, man, that's brutal.
But yeah, and of course they were like, we can fire you, you can quit, or you can take a demotion and be a cook.
Yeah.
I was like, heck no, from already, making that money as a bartender.
Oh, dude,
forget about it.
Yeah.
So took a pay cut anyway and worked prep and Cracker Barrel, and it wasn't too bad. I got to hang out with a bunch of grandmas, a couple of hot chicks. They worked the morning shift. A lot of them were like, studying to be nurses. They were doing other things, but they were serving up pancakes and syrup with the best of them, man. I enjoyed it. I came in early in the morning and went to the shop in the afternoon, studied my tattooing, and just kept on moving on, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think it's awesome, though. Yeah. Sorry, not to cut you off, but I think it's awesome that your mom took you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. My mother, she's got a lot more tattoos than I do, even.
Like my family, like I was raised in a strict Christian household. My family went nuts, and like
you didn't go small either.
I got like my first tattoo. I got a sleeve. I went big or went home.
There's some people that love them. There's some people that absolutely detest them.
Mm-hmm. My family was crazy. But I mean, nowadays they brag on me. They're like, look, But back then, like, I mean, I lived at home when I started getting it, and they didn't talk to me for like 2 or 3 weeks. Like, not a word.
I've heard that, and I mean, from many clients, like you tattoo them, they go home, their dad or grandma or whoever. Usually, sometimes it gears towards the parents, the mom or the dad or both, and they'll be like, my dad kicked me out. He doesn't speak to me. Yeah. He took my car away, and I'm like, oh my god, all this over a tattoo. One simple form of self-expression.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It is. It's the expectation that parents put on their kids can be a little unrealistic at times, but I can see. I don't know that my kid could do anything that I could just like, you're banished. I take all things that I've given to you. I take them all away.
I mean, can you? And then especially for like a tattoo, dude. I know both the girls are getting tattoos. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. Chloe's already given herself like Sharpie tattoos in the back seat, and then we get to like a really nice place, and she's just covered face tats. She's got it everywhere. And I'm like,
that's mine.
The crazy thing about me is like I honestly didn't even care about tattoos or piercings until like probably I was like almost 20.
Yeah.
And then like my aunt actually got one, and she showed me, and then I was just like,
this is the great.
And then she helped take me to get to meet my first artist, and I was like, and it just I'm just in it,
Oh yeah. It's something people totally immerse themselves in because it is kind of instantly gratifying because you've got that piece of whatever it is, that expression there, that art that you like. And it's like, oh, it's mine. No one can take it.
And it's like you bleed. It's like you bleed for it in a way, and you hurt for it, so it makes it that much more important to you.
Absolutely, yeah. Although it's instantly gratifying, it isn't like instantaneous. It does take that endurance to complete it, because it is painful.
I was watching this thing the other day about like the hammering, the old school style tattoos.
Soft tap type.
Yeah, and he was just talking about like what a process it is for them, and they still do it in like Hawaii and a lot of other places are still doing it. But he was talking about like how like you go through so much pain and you just grow through the tattoo. And I feel like if you get a tattoo that means a lot to you, you're kind of doing that even with like the machines and stuff. Dude, like the chest, I mean, you've got right here. I bet you almost passed out. Like I would have just been on the verge.
I got a lot of that when I was younger. I say when I was young and full of piss because I could endure things like that. And like now I've had work done on it, and I'm like, that hurts a lot more now that I'm older.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm working on my stomach right now, and I haven't got much done on it in probably almost a year because of how bad it hurts.
Yes.
And money, but like I mean, it's just a whole nother.
I got like just recently like a Joel did like straight down here, and I was like, dude, that I mean, I've had like the back of the arm, like all around there, around the armpits and stuff, but dude, that was just like the worst. And you've got your whole
I got my whole chest. I'm working on my stomach, dude. It is terrible.
How far does yours go? Like almost for years
to my sternum. It's it's a full color heart that Joel's got, and he did all of it actually. And there's like spider webs and decayed flowers over here, and this is still blank over on this side. It might be blank for a while.
It's so painful, man. The chest is like I got a new appreciation for anybody that got that area.
Like interestingly, one of my I can't remember which side it was, but one side hurt worse than the other.
It's weird. Feel like that. The nerve endings in the body. The way that they're mapped out, of course, you don't really know where they're at until you go over them with a needle, and it's like, zingy. Oceanfront property, I see. Definitely more spice to certain areas than others. And then a lot of people do say, like, wow, my tattoo on my left shoulder did not hurt near as bad as the one on my right shoulder. And it's just the nerve endings in the body. Now, most people do say, like, the foot, the ribs, the fingers. Even they say are very painful.
Did that one hurt on the inside there?
Like, it hurt pretty dang bad. Like, I didn't expect it to hurt as bad as it did hurt, but I could endure it.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where I was like, wow, I'm surprised. Like, that hurts pretty bad.
But you know what? And that held together really darn well.
I had two settings on it, though. Like,
typically, yeah.
Yeah, the first time, like, the bottom sort of kind of went a little blank, and then the second time we went over it again, and it stayed pretty good.
Yeah, it's in that weird part of the skin where it's like your hands, they shed constantly anyway. It's so dry there, typically. Especially for us guys. Just naturally more callousy than others.
Yeah.
But that is actually pretty darn good.
Yeah, I really like this tattoo. It's one of my favorites,
It's
honestly.
legible, and it still holds color. That's what makes a good tattoo.
A guy named Scooby did it at Archangel in Madison.
Really?
Yeah. Scooby. He was a piercer for the longest time. Like, piercing, he did, like, the hooks where they...
Oh, the body suspension.
Yeah. He did all that, and then he became like this, and he specialized in small pieces. Like, anybody that wants small stuff, they come to him, and I mean, he makes bank doing that, because most people like small stuff, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, my friend has I Heart Cake.
Nice.
Because we got into an argument, and I was like, screw it, I'll get a tattoo. And he was like, nuh-uh, and I was like, I'm doing it. And then within, like, less than a week, we went up there.
Nice. That's pretty good.
So,
heck yeah.
No, that's one thing. I mean, tattoos, it is a common link amongst people, like, with identities, I guess. Because you can see someone with some tattoos, you're like, hey, I get along with you. Right.
Yeah.
You're in.
Yeah.
Come.
Have you ever had somebody like pass out on you while you're tattooing?
Yeah.
So it's a common thing?
It is pretty common. I mean, it happens once in a blue moon. Now I try to look for the signs.
Yeah.
But
or sweating or something like.
Yes, paleness is one. Clamminess, the sweating and stuff like that. But I mean, a tattoo will warm you up, so you'll sweat a little bit. But I mean, if you're just profusely,
yeah.
Like, that's how I am all the time, because I have sort of like a disorder where my palms sweat constantly. So, like, I'll be laying there, and, like, I'll get up, and there's, like, an impression of my body and sweat on the thing, and I'm like, they're like, are you all right? I'm like, I'm fine.
I had Dutch had Joel with this little band, right? So I already had all this stuff, but the little band going around here, and I just ran a half marathon. So it was my first one to ever run. Didn't eat anything but a Pop-Tart that day. And so, like, ran a half marathon.
Like, this will sustain me.
Run that night, ate half a Pop-Tart, threw up before the marathon, so I didn't really have anything. Ran the marathon and came straight to Lotus. And dude, whenever I got there, I was like sitting there. It didn't hurt. I was just like laying there, but I was bleeding like a lot. And as soon as I got up, dude, I was like whiter than that light. I was like resonating, and I was like, I'll be back in just a little bit. He like just finished doing it, and Jody was about to go get hers. And dude, I made it about 3 steps and puked everywhere.
Curtains.
Yeah.
Did you feel like the blackout or just nausea?
Just nausea. And then, dude, I passed out shortly after that. But I think it was bad, dude.
I've seen some pretty good passer-outers, man. There was one lady in particular when we were at that church on Church Street. We had half wood walls, and she got her tattoo and everything. She was really excited, so she gets up and looks at it, and she's like, oh, yeah, I like it. And then she is, and she just knocks her head right on that wood device. Her husband's sitting in the chair like, I said, you may want to get her. And so he picks her up, and she's like, what happened? And I was like, well, you passed out. Let's lay you down for a moment. Yeah. Make sure you're not concussed.
Yeah. Oh my God. So her husband's just like,
oh, he was totally just, I don't know. He's like, whoa. Jesus struck her dead. Just totally.
The Lord done came to life.
Took her on to the upper room. He was really just dumbfounded. Which, I mean, to me, it caught me off guard. Because typically, if a person passes out, it's like the first couple of minutes when you're getting into the tattoo. Typically, even a new client are prone to feeling, they have all that excitement and everything. And so there's like nowhere to go but to like, And some people are better at managing that than others. And boy, that poor lady, it dumbfounded me because she had tattoos. She made it through the process. She looked at it and she was just like, oh.
Did she like not eat that day? Or like, I wonder
it's
what
possible.
happened.
She didn't elaborate, but man, you could tell she was definitely like on a different realm after that. Which people say they feel like very euphoric after passing out. And it's very peculiar. The first time I seen someone do it, I thought they had died.
Oh, yeah.
Because
It's like,
I just sit there like, well, maybe I should call the police. I don't know what's going on. Heather was actually doing an industrial on this guy's ear, and he just, as soon as it was all over, jewelry was in, he just like that, and just color wash everything, just looked
God.
like a dead guy. And I'm like,
yeah. He's like molding or whatever that's called, molting or whatever.
yeah, he's like, just just total relax. The other bad thing about passing out is that when your body does relax like that, you are prone to doing a couple of things,
Like,
peeing yourself.
oh my God.
Pooing yourself.
And
when you come to,
yeah,
sometimes they're so just out of sorts that they'll be combative. They'll be like,
Were you there?
No, but I remember a story.
oh, it's crazy. It's like they quantum leap just.
Yeah.
Oh God, who am I? Who are you?
Yeah.
Ah,
Have you
it's
ever,
crazy.
Have you ever blacked out before? Have you ever been knocked out?
When I actually I went to donate blood and they pricked my finger.
Oh, I'm the worst at it.
I won't go to blood tries because of that. It's useless. I'll just be out on the floor.
It.
Yes.
I mean, like,
You know
I've
what?
looked at them when they're doing it, and I'm like, and I feel woozy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and I have to not. I don't like it. It's and then the nurses are like, but you have all these tattoos.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
it's
it's
no
totally
excuse,
different, man.
It is.
It's totally different.
I'm like, you're sucking something out of me.
Yeah, and you look at it and you see
Oh,
it
God.
leaving your body, and
My
you're
life
just like,
force.
Yeah. Dude, okay, like, I just the other day I thought like, oh, my blood sugar might be low, and this girl that we know has diabetes, so she like, oh, I've got a kit, let's test your blood. I almost had a panic attack knowing that she's about to stab me in the finger. I was just like imagining it's gonna stick into the bone, and I'm gonna be like, ah! But it was literally like the first little layer of skin. I didn't even feel it. She's like, don't flinch this time. She had to do it like twice, dude. And they're just like holding my finger. I was like, just do it already. And then she's like, tick. And I was like, do it. And she's like, it's done. I was like, oh. But dude, yeah, I blacked out once, right? And I woke up around my friends, but while I was out, I thought I was sleeping in my bed, and my stepbrother at the time woke me up. And so I thought that he had woke me up from my bed, and I was like, get out of here. I was like kicking him. Well, I woke up and everybody's around me, and in my dream that I had while I was passed out, I was really mad because this dude woke me up, so I'm like trying to punch and kick him. Well, I woke up swinging, dude, and everybody's like, calm down. I'm like, what just happened? And they're like, you just passed out. I was
Where am I?
It was so weird. It felt like you said, time traveling, man.
Absolutely.
It was just like, I was gone for like, I don't know how long. And then I think it was just a couple of seconds, like I fell down and they were like, oh my God. And I was like, It was rough. It was a rough time. Yeah.
I feel bad for people when it happens, especially if it's like the pee and the poop thing, because it's
Does
like
that
nothing
happen?
worse. Oh, yeah, it's happened.
Oh, man.
Not to me, thank God. Is there any wood around here?
Yeah, it's somewhere in there. I'm sure.
Yeah, like I've not had to clean up that part. Now I've had some pretty severe passer outers.
Yeah.
Like even a guy that his tattoo is maybe that big.
And he just dropped.
I mean, like a fly. Just actually, he went missing 30 minutes before the tattoo session.
Yeah.
And when he emerged out of the bathroom, he's just sopping wet. Looked like
my
he
God.
fell in.
Yeah.
Just, oh, and I said, "You don't look like you feel well." He's like, "I'm fine. Let's get it." And it's supposed to be this like Batman tattoo, you know. And so I'm like, "Yes, we're ready. We're ready to do it." Put it on his back. Yes, go. One little line that small. I kid you not. He couldn't make it.
Oh, dang.
Oh my
We
God.
rescheduled the appointment 2 times, and he couldn't make it past the shaving and the stenciling.
The shaving.
And I was like, man, I don't think you're a good candidate for a tattoo.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I admire your gall for it, and
Yeah.
you really want it, but he's like, I'll pay you another deposit. I'm like, I would only be taking your money.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my
I'm like,
gosh.
you're not that tattoo's not going to get any bigger. It's just this one stays so small.
It might be the shaving. You should be like, pregame. Maybe we can
Yeah. Get your wife. Well, the last bit of it, his wife came with it, and she was very upset that he did not finish the tattoo.
Did he like pass out again, or he
Oh
just
yeah,
like?
all 3
God.
times he
Oh
was.
my
I mean,
God.
out like a light. Just
Oh my God.
so clammy, and I felt bad for him. But
Yeah.
I said maybe it's me, maybe our person, the dynamic, because it is a one-on-one sport.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm making him too anxious. I tried not to, especially that second and third time. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I've got the voodoo on this
Yeah.
guy.
Would you be like totally surprised if you saw him and he's just like decked?
I would.
Like neck tattoos. Everything.
I would be very surprised to be like, so let's see your bag, and then like everything's tattooed around it. It's just that one little tiny line still there. The Batman that never was.
Yeah. Maybe it's just Batman scares the crap out of the dude. Man.
Yeah. Well, it is quite a commitment. I mean, if you don't have the bucks to be Batman, you're up a creek. I mean, there's no superhero power. That money, man. That technology, that training. But if you don't have that like $1 billion car and crap like that, you're out of luck. Especially if you don't have the tattoo.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's got a line though. So you got a line?
One little line, maybe a millimeter. I mean, it's just so small.
Yeah.
But it's a tattoo. If he had a hairy back, you wouldn't be able to tell. But he's pretty slick back, so he could at least say, "I have a tattoo."
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, he does have a tattoo.
Yeah, heck yeah. Well, man, like since you've been with Lotus, like how have you noticed a change in just the scene? Because like it's changed dramatically since I've been getting tattoos.
It is definitely more vast. It's diverse in people now, because now you can't be like, oh, that lady doesn't look like she'd have a tattoo. Because they do. I mean, I've tattooed doctors in town, secretaries of elementary schools and things like that. These are positions that I think 10 years ago you would have probably been a little more scrutinized, especially like in the hiring process. Even a tattoo that has what I would call a clean message, there's nothing obscene to it. They're still very iffy, just like the mom one on my neck. There nothing repulsive or vulgar about it. It's just that it was a highly visible spot and they didn't like it. So now I see that maybe in some of the smaller businesses there's some of that, like, I'll use it lightly, discrimination. But I've heard, oh, well, he's got tattoos, you better watch him. He'll steal your stuff, things like that. But it's not so much like that anymore.
My girlfriend is a prime example of that discrimination. Like, I took her to Tempest. She's getting work done by Jared. And, because he did my chest. But, like, she started to get a full sleeve. And, like, I convinced her, she wanted something on her back at first, and then I convinced her to just go balls to the wall. And, like, she worked at a eye doctor clinic in Waverly, and it was private owned, so it was like a smaller, And one day they just fired her. Like, they didn't give her any warning at all, and the excuse that they gave her was like complete bullshit. Like, it was basically like, we've been seeing things that you've been doing, and this is your last day. And then she's like, well, if you saw things, why didn't you tell me? And I would have fixed them, because I like this job. And they just cut her right out. And then they were like, hey, you can get this is what nailed it for me. They're like, hey, you can get unemployment, we'll let you get it. So basically what they were doing was getting rid of her because they didn't like how
like the sight of you.
They didn't like the tattoos.
We'll pay you.
And they were trying to keep her quiet. I do find that with some private practices or smaller businesses where they do kind of feel a degree of control over this image that they want. And even customers that are in military branches, there will be somebody that changes in the higher up that will change policy on visible tattoos, which I think is ridiculous.
Could you imagine?
And the thing is, she wore long sleeves. It was always covered at work. Nobody would have ever known she had it unless it was for like Instagram or something.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I hate to see anybody having to change their self to appease another idea of what someone else says is acceptable.
Especially if it's like work. I mean, if you're there doing your job, being very efficient at it, and like, then on top of that, oh, now you've got a tattoo or something like that, and we don't like that tattoo, so you're out here.
And if you have came into that job, like I've had this tattoo for almost 10 years probably, and like usually in interviews, like if I was going to try and get a job, I would cover it, and like they would never even know that I had it, and like you would work the job and they wouldn't know. You would be doing a good job, and like if they saw it, then they're like, we don't like you anymore. But I've been doing this. I haven't changed. From then till now.
Always me. Just a little more colorful now.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, that's true, man.
Walmart actually did me pretty wrong, because that's whenever I started to get it. Like whenever I was a cart pusher at Walmart, And from the moment that it was a little bit visible out of my short sleeves, they started treating me totally different.
That's crazy.
Totally different.
Yeah. Well, man, so speaking of slightly political stuff, you're running for office.
I am Dickson County 3rd District Commissioner.
Yes, man. What would that entail? Like, what would your, like, as commissioner, what would you be doing?
Well, it's considered a part-time job, so to speak, but really it's not. The commission meets 2 times out of the month. One is considered a work session. The next one is a voting session. So they'll bring a subject or whatever to the floor. They're supposed to discuss it. It's basically a legislative body of citizens that follow the mayor's lead as far as like what's on the agenda. You discuss it, research it, you're supposed to, and then you'll vote on that issue. So property tax, the trash tax is a thing that the commission has created. Several other things that really affect people's lives here in Dickson, and people kind of underestimate the power of that seat because it is the purse strings of the county. Like, these people decide on how a school is built and funded and staffed, and they approve the budgets for education. And you know, if you ever go to one, they're always open to the public. But if you go to one, some of these 12 commissioners, they might not say a word. So the issue will be brought to the floor of one meeting. A commissioner talked about getting it 3 days ago before the meeting happened, and without any questioning, they went ahead and approved the bill. They just go with the flow, you know. And I mean, it is a paid position, but for instance, it used to be like $434 a month. Well, in 2015, the commission decided they had like a $2.2 million surplus in their budget. So they would go ahead and push on their increased pay, so they knocked it from $430 to $500 even. Of course, without much fire, you know.
Let's make it happen.
But they later would stall giving teachers a pay increase. They would also ask the Board of Education to make additional cuts to their budget proposals and things like that. But
even though they have this surplus.
Exactly.
To keep the surplus.
So there's things that need to be done. And to me, the reason why I got interested in running really is that I've always wanted to do something for common citizens, regular day-to-day people. Instead, you know, there's people that sit on that commission that are like lawyers, and they've got some pretty nice salaries. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you do lose that scope of citizens that don't quite meet that level of income. Dickson has a 14.5% population that's living below poverty, and that's just the ones that are reporting to census bureaus. There's people, most poor people don't want to report to any kind of official at all. It's just, it requires them to kind of, you know, divulge so much intimate things about them.
Out there.
Yes, and Dickson boasts an over 50,000 populace countywide. So with 14.5% of those persons living in below poverty, that's really alarming. But
it is.
The local government still will impose taxes and fees on these people that they end up getting pushed out of their own homes. The trash tax is one of them. That's
dude, that thing is ridiculous.
I can see where they felt the need to fund it or to generate it, but I don't feel like all sources were exhausted. I think they could have definitely rebolstered the recycling program.
That's
all those sort of things
that we got into. He's got a huge story about that.
It was ridiculous.
No, it's absolutely absurd. And when you look at the amount of revenue that the landfill actually makes, you get that $10 fee for every resident that has an electric meter. That's, I have no idea how many, but it's absurd amount.
And that includes people in apartments. So every single apartment person.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's
because I've lived in apartments in Dixon.
Plus, like in our situation, being a resident, own a business, you pay $10 on your business. So that's $20. $240 a year just from one person. And not to mention that in our plaza, we have a contract with a dumpster provider that is out of county. It doesn't even see the landfill of Dickson. So the same deal with the apartment complexes. Even in their leases, it says, you know, trash is provided, but they're still having to pay this $10 fee. And with it has that $5 penalty, which is a 50% late fee markup. So as commissioner, I would like, but my first thing would really be reforming that trash tax, because you've got people going to court, losing their property over Well, when I got sued for it, a $512 bill turned into $1,042.
$1,042?
Yes.
How do they justify that?
Because it is law. When I went to the court, the Honorable David Wolf, which this is the only encounter I've had with the man other than this, he was pretty reasonable. He was sympathetic to my situation because there is two ways that you can get out of the trash tax or get an exemption. That is meet a certain level of income. I think it's $25,000 a year or less. Plus, you have to be disabled. Plus be disabled.
Wow, it's not either or. It's you have to be both.
Yeah. Or it can be a shed building that no one lives in, but it's like your tool shed. You can get that exempt because there's no one dwelling in it.
So like this building right
This building here could be tax, or it could be trash tax exempt because you already paid on that fee.
Yeah.
So you just have to go online, take out your exemption form, turn it. Well, I have a disabled son. He has autism. He's been diagnosed since he was 2. And at that time, when I was getting sued, this is like 2011 through 2012. The trash tax has just been enacted since 2010. At that time, I was still an apprentice and still not making very much money, getting my name out there, so on. So I definitely met the income qualifications. But because I, the householder, the electric meter holder, was not disabled, that did not make me privy to the exemption. So met the income requirement, but not the disability. Never mind you that I have a child that really cannot be potty trained at what we would consider a regular age. So you have to pay like $80 a month in pull-ups, and so $10 a month was a lot for me. But the judge was very sympathetic for that. But then he says, well, if you don't like it, you can always move. And that's what really pissed me off.
Yes. No, the coffin for that.
I'm like, come on. So I should move. Dixon, born and raised Dixon, have a business in Dixon.
And you're supporting this community.
Yeah, it's crazy. So anywho, that kind of made me mad. So I'm like, you know what? This year's election year, the commissioner that was in the seat before had served decades. He's not going to serve again, so it's pretty much anybody's race. And so far, so good. I was the first one to pick up a petition and officially file it. And that's on record. You can check it. The other guys waited till the last minute, which one of them was appointed by the commission to serve for that seat.
But, I mean, it's still anybody's race there, right?
It is, absolutely. Because it's anybody's vote. Because there is over 800 voters in that district. It's a very large district. It covers Van Leer, Sladen, a part of Cumberland Furnace, Dixon on like Yellow Creek, Maysville Road area, and a portion of Charlotte as well.
So it does cover Dixon and Yellow Creek, that like it up does. To like Pond Road?
It'll be like
up to, do you know how far?
It cuts basically through the backyards of people that live on Airport Road.
Okay.
They've got district maps on Dickson County Election Commission's website, and it'll show you how it's all mapped out. The third district is actually the largest one.
That's so cool.
I think there's about probably about 1,000 people in that district that dwell. You have to live in the district to vote for that commissioner, and of course you have to live in that district to be the commissioner. So right now there's 3 other dudes running. They all waited kind of until the last minute to pull and file their petitions, but I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be pretty healthy. I've got a pretty good support system. People put my banners on local businesses in Van Leer and their houses and stuff. So I think the common consensus is that citizens want change, but they also want to see truth in policy. And as of right now, our local government doesn't have much transparency. There's no way to know what your commissioner is voting on, how, if they're even asking a question. To build the new Burns Middle School, there was sessions held by the county or by the school board. 2 of the 12 commissioners showed up to hear what the proposal was on the school, how much it would cost, all that stuff. And that is a response. Only 2 of the 12. And the paper that reported on it didn't mention which 2. But only 2 of the 12. I'm like, that's crazy. But most of them have been in that seat for so long, they've kind of stagnated. And they're somewhat entitled in a way too, feeling about it.
That's most places.
But the thing that's bad about that is it's a burden on your citizens, you know, that's a huge burden on the people,
but not on them, and that's that's what they see.
I'll say this, man, I'll relate this to business, right? People that are CEOs of like Lowe's or somewhere like that, don't really have any idea what's going on with that part-time worker that's
Right.
working in an office somewhere. And like you were saying, how there's like doctors and attorneys, and there's nothing wrong with those people,
Right.
but they're in a totally different spectrum of life than these people that you were talking about with the poverty and
For sure.
you know. So it's hard for them to be able to relate
They don't
to
see
that
it,
daily life,
so they
and
don't
like,
know it.
and they
Right.
don't know how these laws affect those people. They can like, you know,
'Cause they can
read it
just
or
go
figure it out, but
or
Yeah,
write
oh,
a check,
absolutely.
and then they're fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, one of the commissioners, I was sitting in a commission meeting. They were talking about the proposed new school and what the prospects were to raise the property tax. I think they said it'd be something like a 44-cent increase. That's per $100
oh wow.
on your property tax. And the commissioner was like, "Well, what's that on say a regular income?" And so the assessor of property was sitting in the audience, and she's got her calculator out. And she said, "Well, what would the income be?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know, 100,000 a year." I'm like,
Who do you know, dude?
"Excuse me,
Yeah.
100 grand a year?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise!"
Let's see the
like-
percentage of citizens in Dickson that make that
Oh.
to the percentage of citizens that make less than 45,000.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm like, if they ever worked a job that was like 30K a year, it's been so long ago that they have no idea what that's like. And to me, the whole you have to be 25K and under plus be disabled. Well, honestly, having a low income is nearly like a disability.
It is.
Yeah.
You are severely limited in what you can do, what you can afford.
I think it should be considered like a social disability for sure, at the very
yes,
least. Because I
absolutely.
mean, like, man,
Social class, even in this town, like we have people that do pull in those big six-figure a year jobs, and then even the percentage that makes 75,000 a year, we've got a pretty high number. But most of Dickson make less than 35,000 a year. There's a lot of working paycheck to paycheck. I mean, hell, if you just stake out of any of the payday advance stores, which there's millions,
oh yeah, yeah,
you will
exactly.
see Dickson County people. I mean, Tennesseans just going
It's
there
just-
religiously, and they're throwing
Yeah.
away all their money.
I've been in that situation before where you're on payday loan
Absolutely.
and you get a check to pay off your payday loan, then you get a payday loan to
Yes.
pay for your bills, and it was not a good time, man. But
It's
I
a
mean,
hole that's so deep it's
Yeah.
hard to crawl out of.
Yeah, exactly.
it really is, man.
And honestly, I feel like that trash fee is just like that. Like with
Yeah.
the $5 more penalty, you've automatically got them almost $20 in the hole each month.
Yeah.
So once they have accumulated a certain amount, that's when the county moves in to sue them.
Yeah.
And then if they do give up their property, the county has got this nice portfolio of real estate. You know,
Yeah.
whether it be somebody's dump out in Hole and Wall or wherever, which
Yeah, yeah.
isn't part of Dixon, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
So it just looks like taxation without representation. So I
Exactly.
think getting real citizens involved and actually get it, like, to me, being a commissioner, I would want to hold a town hall every
Yeah,
month.
man.
Get the input, get what they want. Because right now, nothing.
Yeah.
I did a letter campaign, and most of the people that would respond to me were so astonished that I'd even reached out to them. As
Yeah.
a candidate, we're like,
Yeah.
the current commissioners have never, ever even
Yeah,
reached out to
no.
me,
Yes.
not even to stir the vote.
Well,
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it's by the name. I mean, you're related to this family here, and then
Oh, yeah.
everybody else knows you. Well, he's got to be a bang up guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's just not the
No.
case
Yeah,
anymore. It
exactly.
needs
Look
to be
at
more
that
about the
guy's
person.
basement.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Fine driveway, that guy. I like him.
Yeah. But dude, I mean, like, I don't know. I just feel like, all right. The other day, Aaron did that whole Irish festival. It's like their Irish Day, right? I have never. If the mayor of Dickson was in here right now, I'd have no clue who they were. Like, literally, never seen him in my life.
I don't even know his name.
Bob Ryle.
There you go. Well, it's good to know.
Yeah, yeah.
But I would have not know him from that freaking little trophy right there. I have no clue. So, and Aaron, the freaking mayor of town's just walking through there in a Hawaiian shirt, a fedora, like a lei. He's just wearing like shorts, and just like everybody's like, hey, and the people I were with, they're like, that's the mayor of Aaron. I was like, really? And they need somebody that like. I'm not saying it's necessarily going there, mayor-wise, okay, but they need somebody to represent them that is one of them, more
Yeah,
so than...
yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And I think that's what people want, because originally government wasn't really supposed to be this money-making
Yeah.
titan that it is now. And, I mean, even in Tennessee, they've given a lot of power back to the county. So, like, I would ask a person, are you registered to vote? Well, yeah, I registered because I vote for the president. I'm like, well, yeah, sure, that's important. But when it comes to like a general election, which is the one I'm running in, you get to select governor plus your state representatives, things of this nature. And right now, I mean, as far as like legislator-wise, there's all kinds of things important. Medical cannabis, that's one big thing that Tennessee is like lagging behind on when it comes to other counties, or other states even. Because it's looking more that way. Like, you need to get on the bus now.
It's
but
gonna happen.
They're so concerned with like, well, we need to highly regulate it. We need to make sure that this is the strictest we've ever seen in this nation. I'm like, what for? These people, most of them are dying. They have severe mental problems that they need this medicine for. It's just the whole reefer madness rhetoric is so dated, but yet in Tennessee,
jump out of a window and fly.
Yes, you will rape white women.
Yeah, exactly. Rape art.
It has roots in hell.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same plant that they say this is the Bible Belt. Well, if God created this wonderful plant for people, and men are saying that it's bad, then where's the justification?
But it's okay though. It's okay for us to get everybody hooked on Suboxone and stuff like that, and to have these Suboxone clinics set up that have literally just a sign out front that's like, "Get your drugs here, dude. Suboxone right here."
Under the guise of pain management. It's sad, and then people get it so addictive. As a tattoo artist, I've lost at least 5 customers to the shop due to the opioid crisis. One of them didn't even get to see his 21st birthday.
Oh my God.
And it's just that lethal, and it's that accessible too.
It is.
And part of it, of course, I do say it's like the environment of which we have for people. Like, there's not much things to do when you're a young person. There's not much education-wise as far as like our small community goes. And so, what are things that people do to kill time,
Brain cells.
we actually talked about that in Dickson. We tried to get a venue started, like a music venue. And we had a really good place. I can't remember what it is now though. That building we were looking at.
Rental Supply or something like that. It was out there by the interstate.
But it was a prime location, a great building and everything. We had it was on the market. We had everything set up, but we just couldn't get the money for it to get started.
Right.
We were in our I was 21 at the time, maybe.
Yeah, we were young, when we John had this legit setup, like paperwork. He was freaking on it, and we would go into these banks to try and get a loan, and most of them said the same thing. They're like, "We love this idea, and we love what you want to do." And then one guy was like, "I have some sons, and they would just, it would be a great environment for them, considering what they do now, but we just can't take the risk." So we couldn't get it going. But like you were saying, there's not much to do in this town at all,
and it's so easily accessible. Now I even hear in conversation amongst people like the casual exchange about heroin being a party drug, which in my day, cocaine was that drug. And it had its purpose in my life. And before becoming a dad and being responsible and a business owner, that served its time and it's done. And I'm glad I never went down the road that some friends did. But some people mentally cannot moderate that kind of use. And really, even myself, it did not take until I thought that I was going to overdose before I actually was like, okay, maybe I should stop. Some people cannot stop. And some do. And then as soon as they get it, they do it all and they die. It's so scary. It's
always
awful.
Completely accidental because they don't know the caliber of how much is going in them at the time.
I honestly don't think that any overdose was ever purposefully done, because so many of them had family and friends, and then I always try to make it a point to go to a funeral when it's a client or somebody that I know, just for closure purposes, and at least talk to the family and exchange a memory or two. And it's just so hard to see them all left the way that they are with that. And it's so broad now, but honestly, it's been around, but not until it really started affecting privileged white people did it become an issue. Like, all of a sudden, it was like, let's make treatment centers, let's make treatment programs, let's get grants for this. When really, if you look back in history, heroin was a very rapid killer for black people. And nobody cared. They just classified them as junkies. Now that we have these actual, preppy people, these kids that look innocent, innocent enough, be out there playing football in the high school field, but they actually have a real strong addiction to opioids, and it's sad. I hate to see it. It's wrecking a lot of lives, but hopefully something will be done about it. I don't know what, but
yeah, I mean, and a lot of the reason they're against the marijuana legalization is because they classify it as a gateway drug.
right.
Yeah.
But then you got people that are going just straight to the end game.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
I've never smoked
all the
a
time,
cigarette, but
and
I'm about to just shoot up for a second.
But like you can kind of sort of say it as like a gatekeeper in a way,
Right.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah.
if you can get this legally and you won't go to that other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, as long as they don't try to, like, Ralph Nader it, as long as they're not like, look, guys, everything's legal across the board. Crystal meth is fine. We're all right. I feel like that's where they think it might be going, you know what I mean? So they're like, let's just, but, like, do you feel like in Tennessee, it's going to happen. They're going to legalize it eventually, but do you think they're going to start it off with, like, medical or recreational?
I definitely think it will probably go to medical first.
Mm-hmm.
They will regulate it, and there will be some pretty extreme. I'm thinking just my own personal. Not that I've read anything that says it will be so, but I'm imagining it will be pretty tough to get approved for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like actually. Not, that you'll actually have to go to a doctor that's going to like be like, okay, you do have this, because I think they're going to make it so scary for doctors that they're basically going to be like, we're not going to have a Colorado. You know what I mean? I've heard that before from other older white folks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh no, that's just a bunch of grass over there.
Yeah,
They're all so smoking everything they can't drive. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I think that it'll be baby steps for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When other parts of the country start pushing, like the majority starts looking like it's all recreational, I think Tennessee will follow suit. But right now it will be, I bet you, medicinal, which the way they're talking about now is like setting up a commission that these officers could basically regulate this. And some say that it could be too much of letting power to bureaucrats that could just bust in there whenever they want.
Yeah.
And so they definitely are thinking of ways to structure that program. But I mean, logically, look at the revenue that you could do. You could, infrastructure,
if anything
all that
else,
stuff.
yes.
Yeah.
Money. Republicans love money. Tennessee's all Republican. Get on that revenue wagon. Go ahead, legalize the reefer, and take in the revenue. It's that simple.
I saw this meme that said something about like just legalize pot and use the tax money to fix all the holes in the road and call it the pothole project. I was like, that's pretty good, dude. Pretty good. Because 840 or 440 could
440
definitely use
is just a giant pothole with more potholes all over it.
Yeah.
We do have some pretty rough roads, man, especially for like interstate travel and stuff.
Yeah.
So, pretty alarming.
Would you have like any jurisdiction over that type of stuff getting fixed? Like the potholes?
It's just basically the county level of government. There's different people. So like that would be a road superintendent or the road commission.
Yeah.
That they maintain our county roadways. So whatever's a county road, they're supposed to maintain it.
Like
Now I have been on some county roads that are a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So they're actually considering condensing down where it will be no road commissioners. It'll just be one road superintendent.
Yeah.
And then they work with the highway department of
Like
Dickson.
TDOT or whatever.
There is a highway department in Dickson right next to the school bus yard. And those guys, you usually see them like with the tractors mowing all the grass and stuff too.
Yeah.
They do all that. And they do really great. We've got quite a few clients that actually work for them. So
That's cool.
you can work for that department with visible tattoos and they'll take you.
There you go.
I recommend
That's definitely
sunblock.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you are out there, boy, it's every time
Yeah.
wasting all that money.
Yeah.
But pretty much, commissioner is just your job is to represent the citizens, try to get the information to the citizens, and get their feedback. So if it comes to building a new school, citizens, would you like a new school? Well, if we have it, we're going to fund it this way. It's going to be a tax increase. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. Give it to them, and then let them say yay or nay.
Yeah.
Still, overall, it takes the majority of the 12. So whichever way it goes, if the most of them say yes or no, that's the bill goes yes or no.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they're all yes man. So they all just rubber stamp it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
When it came to the school, they had no idea how they were going to pay for it. But they'd already spent some money designing the school, like to the tune of $800,000.
Just designing it?
Just to get that all, without really any thinking of how are we going to build
They
this.
know that you're just
Well,
Ted Mosby from freaking.
in portion, like it's the New Bern school plus like the additional renovations they would need, like HVAC and stuff of other schools. They didn't really think too much about beforehand getting it designed about how we're going to fund it, how we're going to staff it, where's it going to come from.
Yeah.
Dixon has the growth, but still, just because we have the growth doesn't necessarily we need to go ahead and jump ahead.
Yeah.
So now it's going to be like a middle high school. So if the numbers don't quite meet up, the school can be redacted not as a high school, but just a middle school. And so it's still all in the works. It's definitely going to happen. And they've always told Burns that they were going to have a school. And just this year they passed it. I mean, before they wasted all that money designing it. I was there that night when they approved it. And finally there was like a relief because there was so much delay. And it was ridiculous. They would pit projects against one another. So like the library was another thing. You know, they're moving it again, and there's money for that. But hopefully, they say it's not going to cost the taxpayers any money. But I'd like to see it.
And I'm really getting educated on a lot of the stuff that I never knew anything about that goes on right under our noses.
I know.
And you just don't hear anything about it because they want to take care of it themselves.
Yes, it is a very few elite. And I mean, they do report on it in the paper and stuff, but I mean, some people don't really know what to look for, you know, or what this exactly means or what all it entails. And they don't even know that the person they've elected doesn't even attend certain informative meetings to do the research, and most of them don't ask questions. So say a planner comes in and he's at the public hearing and he's going to tell you all the great wonderful things and materials he's going to use to build this structure for the county. If none of the commissioners are up there asking questions like, okay, how many buildings like this have you done before? Or, you know, or other examples, you could potentially be hiring somebody that's going to waste so much money. And it would be your fault, you know. Well, there's no investigation.
They're
just
held accountable.
They're there for the title, like I'm a commissioner, hear me roar, yes, and that's it.
I'm not like knocking on these people by any means, but the school that my wife goes to, they just had a huge addition.
Yes.
And it was supposed to be done, I think, and they were supposed to be in classes by September of last year. And it pushed back. I think they just opened it up like last month, but they officially opened it up. But man, I just feel like, you know, I work a lot in Nashville. I see houses be built. I see
in no time.
Yeah, like
it's
a week
so
later,
fast.
and I'm like, oh my god.
That freaking strip mall, basically outside mall that they're building in Bellevue with all those businesses. It was like freaking. I lived in Bellevue for a year, and that place was nothing when I moved in. And whenever I left, it was almost done.
They probably started that at the same time they started the school.
Seriously.
AMC, everything's right still. So. But, man.
And they got some great things in that plaza, too. That new theater and all that.
Sprouts. Somebody said there's a Sprouts there. My wife's all crazy for the Sprouts. I haven't been, but...
Freaking Chili's is in there.
They have ribs.
Baby
do you go to the movies often?
No, not often. It's been a while. I think the last movie I've seen was Into the Woods. Actually,
oh, there you go.
A musical.
Yeah,
I wasn't prepared.
I'm not ready for that. You gotta set your mind for that.
Yeah, I like musicals.
Yeah,
but I was not quite prepared for a modern musical, I guess.
Yeah.
It was a little difficult, but intriguing. If anyone's ever seen Into the Woods, I thought it was all right. Emily Blunt is in it.
Oh, yeah.
So I was all right with it, but that's the last one so far. Well,
dude, if you go back, I mean, like, I love the Roxy, I love the people that work there and stuff, but, like, the AMC that's in Bellevue, they have, like, freaking, like, push seating that like just goes up and down, like you're in your own individual seat.
I've heard about this. They have the recliners and stuff.
And then you can open bar.
You can order food.
That's what someone said.
There's a bar there, dude.
That's in that plaza.
You get smashed, watch a movie, eat popcorn, and just chill, man.
I don't have to change my campaign address to that.
Yeah.
The last movie I saw at the Roxy was Black Panther, and it was last week. I mean, great freaking movie.
I heard good things.
Yeah, just phenomenal. Like, I haven't had that much fun in a Marvel movie since like the first Iron Man.
Yeah.
But we went there on Tuesday, and it was like $5 for all movies on Tuesday at the Roxy.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great deal, so that's why we went.
Yeah.
But the screen was just a little dark. You couldn't really see much going on. The sound was fine, but then I was like, man,
gotta replace that bulb.
yeah. I was like, I'm this close to going to say something, but I don't want to miss what's going on. Like,
what's going on in my house? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, there it is, man. And then, so also, you just told me something else. How did you get into Jehovah's Witness?
Ah, the witness.
Yes.
My wife's family is mostly Jehovah's Witnesses. And so I live next door to her grandparents and several of her family members that live on the ridge. And, you know, Jehovah's Witnesses are kind of a sect of Christianity that is often the black sheep as well.
Yeah.
Because they are known for a couple of things that you could pretty much tell right off the bat. Is like, what comes with being a witness is no holidays. They do the door knocking and the preaching and all that stuff, and they don't take blood and things of that nature. So what got me into it actually is like, you know, they do Watchtower to Wake. So you'll get a pamphlet or the stuff, and you'll see scripture, and then it'll tell you how it correlates with everyday life and so on. As a young person growing up in a household that was not necessarily a Christian, typical like go to church and so on, like my Nana was pretty much a big church goer, still is. I would attend with her often, so I knew a little bit about, you know, Jesus and all that stuff. But when you're Jehovah's Witness, like, they don't believe in hellfire. They don't believe in, like, everybody goes to heaven. It's more like, to me, it seemed more plausible. There were more plausible points to the religion that got me interested. And then at first I was like, well, I'm going to study with them just to prove them wrong as well. And so I was studying stuff like that, and the more and more I studied about it, of course, the more real it became to me. There were parts of it that I really believed in, and then there were parts of it where I'm like, okay, well, this will later come to me as I read more about the Bible. So which the Bible itself is such an interesting book, but it's not in chronological order, so it's hard to be like, it's very difficult. But with Jehovah's Witnesses, you have a whole study program. You have a study teacher that will come to your house at whatever hour you wish, and you will, you can set up a Bible study, all that stuff. And even in my job, I would come across some Jehovah's Witnesses that I had never, ever worked on before until I became a witness. And I actually helped a lady that was really struggling and stuff, and helped her come back to the faith and all that stuff. And I really enjoyed it, but then when things weren't exactly like, when you feel like you're being told how to be or how you should feel for this or that, then you should really question whether that is your real spiritual self. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Even the Bible itself says to trust in God and not man. So when you have a man tell you things that you should be feeling this away, or you shouldn't do that because, you know, that's worldly now. It makes you question. So especially if you're going to be a Christian, any statement by any upper church or deacon, pastor, if they say it to you and it doesn't exercise Jesus Christ as the Redeemer, then you can pretty much bank that it's not true. You know, that it's definitely not a Christian belief.
For sure.
And so, not that Jehovah's Witnesses aren't Christians, but I do believe that there are, just like any other sect of Christianity, where you have picking and choosing, or this is what we want our people to look like and represent, and that's how they want their people to be like and represent. So, you know, when it came to that time for me to quit being a Jehovah's Witness after like 3.5 years, which is a long time.
For it.
And when it came down to it, because anybody can go to a Kingdom Hall, anybody can read the Jehovah's Witness Bible. It's all free. They're really nice people. But once you start to make the commitments of you want to be baptized, or you want to be an unbaptized publisher, which is basically you're not baptized in the faith, but you are clean enough to represent the faith door to door. So you can be like, you know, hey, have you heard the good news? Jehovah's coming to end suffering, you know, stuff like that. So it's a very, everybody in that faith has their place, and it's very perfect nearly, but almost too perfect, because you feel like from everybody else that you are so perfect and everyone else is doomed. When you are in that position. Like, there doesn't really leave much luster for anything else. You know what I mean? Like, if you think that your best friend and other people that aren't in your religion aren't going to quite make it, then you start to kind of feel a bit, you know what I mean? So, other than that, it was fun and interesting. And of course, I was really all about the door-to-door preaching thing. Like, that to me was just so fun. I guess in a way that's why I like politicking too. Which, and it definitely did help me in the realms, like when I did my campaign letter stuff. I made a pamphlet as well for like cues on like what the commission is and so on. And a lot of it would ring back to me like, oh my God, this is just like my witness days. I feel like I would be like,
have flashbacks.
Like, oh, sorry. Oh. Did you Watchtower and Awake? But I really enjoyed it. And when anybody starts like a faith or a spiritual path, they some can get really preachy about it and stuff like that. And I think I hit a tone of that when I first started. And then whenever I start to really reflect, like as far as like myself, applying it more to myself, is when I was like more like low-key Jehovah's Witness. That's probably why you didn't exactly know I was a J-dub before. But but I met a lot of nice people that were Jehovah's Witnesses. I still have friends that are J-dubs, and they do great work, and they're not all bad people. There are some really sinister things that are in the media that are about Jehovah's Witnesses, and I can't say that some of them are or aren't true since I wasn't there. With like anything that you have that mass amount of people, people are wicked. They will do things bad.
Exactly.
I mean, there's been J-dubs that have committed murders that were, public, and, sexual abuse, things of that nature. That does happen. But I think that happens in a lot of churches and things that you let people boss themselves. You know, they will take advantage of situations. I mean,
for sure.
Even in tattoo world, in the tattoo industry, is now with people talking about sexual harassment and things like that. It's people that will use that powerful position to gain advantage over a person that might be submissive or lower than them. And I think that religion has a little bit of that, as any of them that are massive like that. I mean, it's a huge global thing, and there's so many things that they teach you that you do convince yourself this is the truth. This is real. And it did pit me against some family members. I'm not my nana, big church grower. I love her to death, but she hated that I was a Jehovah's Witness. I mean, whoa.
It's kind of like, I mean, not to like just like slim it down like this, but it's almost like, college rival football teams. Just the Christian religion. Like, I mean, I feel like I'm more like a non-denominational type guy, like I follow a lot of the scripture, but I'm not like, I don't know, I guess like what Church of Christ won't let you play music, so I guess I'm a Satan worshiper.
Don't eat the pork!
Dude.
So, I don't know, but I feel like, like I could definitely see where you get some fleck just from following that.
So it's sad, but it's true. Most Christian denominations or churches do separate themselves. And they do, or we go to so and so, or I'm a Baptist. But for when you would say I'm a Jehovah's Witness, people would be like, what are you? What did you touch when you came in here?
It's because it's lack of true knowledge of what they're really all about.
Absolutely.
It's just the name.
And it's scary. I mean, you hear they don't like Christmas. So it's not that they don't necessarily like Christmas, it's that if they are celebrating Christmas to be a Jesus day, the birth of Christ, well, it's incorrect because we don't know exactly when he was born. Even in the Bible, it doesn't say December 25th, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So that was their argument, that they felt like it was a dishonor to Christ to make up his birthday, basically. In lieu of a couple of pagan traditions that, are fun for everybody. I love it. Christmas tree, Santa, whatever, red, green, holly,
I'm all about that Christmas spirit when it comes around, I just I think a lot of people just like giving, I mean, for me personally, I like giving more than I enjoy getting these days. I mean, when you're a kid, you want all the gifts. But as I got a little older, I'm like, hey, I like seeing people happy,
That's what I did tattoos for Toys Drive.
Yes, that is the coolest thing.
And that really, I was really surprised because when I first kicked it off, it was a little bit before the holidays. And I got like maybe 10 toys every couple of weeks. And then as I got closer to doing it, and I did the pictures with Santa and stuff, We did about $1,400 worth of toys.
Nice, man.
Wow.
In pictures alone, we
Yeah.
did like almost $400. Just
Oh, that's
people
awesome.
coming in, donating money for pictures with Santa.
Yeah. That's
And
legit.
naturally,
That's
I was Jolly Santa.
Heck yeah.
So it was really fun, and I loved seeing all the kids that came in, and then we donated that to the help center, and it touched like over 30 families, or around about 30
Dude,
families.
yes, that's awesome.
That would have not
Pretty
otherwise
awesome.
had anything like that.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
the only stipulation was it was a money incentive, of course. You pay 20, you get 50. So
Yeah.
$20 toy value, I give them a $50 off coupon, and heck, I printed off 300 coupons, and I still have a bunch of those rascals. Just thought about going through town and be like,
Yeah.
old timers say great. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, there you
Maybe I'll
go.
hang outside the voter boxes and be like,
Yes.
I'm not going to say, you know who.
Yeah. Look at the picture. Vote for the picture. Come on.
It's me in the Santa hat. Come on.
Yes, man. There you go.
Oh.
And dude, if I start seeing a lot of like old timey guys with like those nice sailor tattoos and it's fresh, I'm gonna be like, did you?
I voted for
what
that
you
too.
did.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Wise decision. Wise decision.
Man, well, that's awesome, dude. I don't know. I think it's so cool that you're running for that. I mean, just
I'm going to try to work for us, and if I don't, oh well. I'm already trying to work on like my winning speech and my losing speech.
yeah.
I think in my losing speech, I want to say, well, at least I didn't make any new friendships.
Yeah. This was rigged. I didn't make a recount. That's
Fake
me or
news.
something.
That's fake news.
Yeah, exactly.
My wife did say, she's like, well, this is a small town. They might rig the election. I was like, are you for real? No. I was like,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not on that level.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not guarding the secret of life in there.
Yeah.
It's not like
Yeah.
secret masons. They're all
Yeah, I was about to say, it's not a Freemason.
like I'm out on the
I don't know,
slab.
though. I don't know.
You never know.
Well, I'll tell you, when I get sworn in, and they're like, bring out the velvet robes.
Yeah, and the glass coffin. Oh, God. And you're like, guys, I didn't sign up for this. Dude, well, I know some people in that district, though, for sure, so I'm going to get them out.
Hey, I've got an official candidate page. It's Dutch Bryant for 3rd District, Dickson County Commissioner 2018. It's a big old long
Yeah, it's
thing,
long.
but you can find it on my personal page too, which is just Dutch Bryant.
Yeah, it makes it easy. I'll put links on this video.
yeah,
too.
yes.
Put
We're
links
gonna
on
do
about
that.
this.
Yeah,
And,
get the name out there. 'Cause
Well,
that's
I've got all
awesome.
kinds of stuff, pamphlets, information. I'm doing a cake and candidate thing where the Van Leer Town Hall there in the town of Van Leer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do a cake and candidate. So it's a meet and greet with me. All are welcome in the district, in the whole county. They can come.
Yeah.
My mom is actually baking all the cupcakes. She does her
Heck
little
yes.
cakes by KP
Yeah.
deal. So she's going to be furnishing me some cupcakes and going to pass them out. Shake some
Yeah.
babies.
Shake some babies, get some ladies. Man,
Nice.
do you know where going down Pond Road, there's that Skeeter's old gas station, and then there's, I think,
Is that the
old
Gulf
number
store?
one. It's on past that. So if you keep on going down Pond Road and going out towards I'm trying to think what that's down towards. It's on Yellow Creek, and then well, there's like a soccer field down there now, and they've got like there's like a weekend little like barbecue joint.
Oh, yes.
down there.
That's my district.
Yeah,
It sure is.
dude, you should set up down there.
Because well, your wife's sister, her and her husband,
Yeah.
are in that district.
They are.
And they signed my petition to get me qualified.
Yes, dude, I
So,
didn't know that. I was
yep.
gonna just be like, you guys better get out there. And vote. Heck yeah, dude. I
Yeah,
know, like,
they are part of my district, and old number 1 is also road
Yeah.
on. It spans. I mean, it's huge, and
Yeah.
I've ticked off one commissioner by putting my
Yeah.
campaign signs in his area, and some of my clients naturally are like, let
Yeah.
me put your sign in my yard. And I let them.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But Commissioner Randy Simpkins, he was really upset about it, so I'll drop his name because
Yeah.
if I win, I'll have to sit next to him, and
Yeah.
I'll try not to break wind.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
That's the level of politics I'm in.
And I think that's the level it should be.
Yeah, exactly. You can't get that personal.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you shouldn't be sitting in that seat.
Yes, exactly. That was he a truly relatable man.
Yeah. Man, I'm telling you, hook me up with some signs and
Absolutely.
for sure buttons.
Absolutely.
I'm betting the crap out of it, dude. Yes.
Absolutely, I would love to.
Yeah.
And so far, my name's all over the district, so I'm excited to see what happens. And the election is actually August the 2nd. this year. And then you can early vote, which is July the 13th through the 26th, I think.
Okay.
And then my meet and greet is May the 12th at 12 p.m. on Van Leer Town Hall, which you can't miss. It's right there across from the elementary school, and there's a fire department.
Yeah.
And I'll have a banner and the old Dutch mobile out there ready to roll.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and then, like you said, you have to vote in your district for your district? I mean, like
Absolutely. So on election day, you'll actually, in your district, there's usually 2 places you can vote. Like ours is Town Hall and I think Calvary Baptist Church. Early voting takes place at Registration Church, which is right there from the Dickson County High School. That's where all the early voting takes place. So I've been told, unless they move it when it gets closer to the time. But like, say, if you live in the town of White Bluff, it would be White Bluff Town Hall and one of the churches there, usually on election day. They'll have signs usually that says vote. The election commission, they do pretty good about notifying people like that. And I'm buying banners to just remind people, hey, don't forget to vote.
Yeah.
Here's the dates. Here's the time.
Yeah.
Come on down.
And I think a lot of the reason that people don't come out is because they don't know.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
They haven't seen. Yeah.
A lot of people are totally unaware. And too, like, before the trash tax, I would have never known anything about local government. But from 2010 forward, I've always tried to, like, chip away at the beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. And when it comes to, like, picking up a petition, there are so many deadlines involved. So, like, once you pick it up, you have to qualify. Come April the 5th, all petitions will be dead. So you have to turn it in.
Yeah.
It has to be at least 25 valid registered voter signatures, or else you will get kicked out.
Yeah.
So,
how did you do that in your area? Like, did you just go door knocking, or how did you do that? Like,
well, yeah, a little bit of door knocking. I did a lot of Facebook campaigning. Of course, I knew a lot of people from my work and stuff. So I had people that were like, oh, well, I'm not in your district, but my grandmother is.
Yeah.
And so I would get somebody's grandma to sign my stuff. I sent out that letter campaign. I did it in shifts, so like I would do 450 the first time, then I started just doing it 100 at a time because my hands get tired.
Yeah.
But I would start to get more interest, so people would call me and they'd Facebook me, and then I'd set up times, get them to sign it, and I got about 40 signatures, and then turned it in. I was the first official.
Nice, man.
That's so awesome.
So yeah, it was cool. And of course I felt at first, I'm like, oh man, here's this crazy white tattooed person that's gonna run in Van Leer and ask these people to just hope in him, like, trust me, I won't screw you over. I'm not trying to make money on this seat. I make plenty of my own. You know. But the reception has been well. My van has my name huge on it, so people are always like,
I was like, dang, that's awesome.
oh yeah. There was this older gentleman at Dollar Store, which my son loves Dollar Store. We frequent all of them in my district. He said, "Who's Dutch Bryant?" I'm peeking behind the pork. I was like, "That's me." That's me. And then he tells me all this stuff, and then he's like, "Well, I like you. I'm gonna vote for you."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yes."
Wipe off the box.
Yes. Yeah, right. But I'm glad, and people are actually interested. They're like, wow, you're interested in doing this. I'm like, absolutely. I would love to, because I think that we're not really being represented, you know?
Yeah.
The regular Joes.
Yeah.
And the fact that they actually get to meet you lets them know that, you know, you're there.
Absolutely. And
Because they wouldn't know who's there otherwise.
Yeah, for sure. And I want that open line of communication. You know, that I want full representation for people. I just don't feel like that's getting out there at all.
Yeah. What were some things that you were talking to some of these people that signed your petition? Like, what's something that you feel like that really got them, you know, engaged?
Trash tax is a big one. They all would like to see that reformed in some kind of way, whether it's total elimination of the fee, which unfortunately I don't see the county doing away with it completely. Because once they've got a hold of something like that generates that kind of revenue, typically you don't know governments being noted for reducing taxes. It's always an increase. But I could be in for a surprise and get it completely gone. I mean, if the way I'm going at it is thinking rebolstering the recycling, making as much money as we can from there. The sheriff already has a litter crew, so using the nonviolent offender litter crew to come and sort through the actual trash. Like, there's so much recyclables thrown away in regular compactor trash that someone could go through that. I mean, of course, not the 70-year-old guy that's, you know, push the button. That guy that shouts at you from the shed. But those inmates, dude, they're already picking up trash all
Yeah.
the thing. Why not collect
Dude.
this junk that's in the compactor?
Not even just that, they have the truck set up already. They have waste management that comes to Dickson. They have all these different areas of, if I had like, okay, so in my house I've got like just bags that we keep like all of our metal stuff,
Right.
anything that's recyclable. So like, and I try to do compost in the summer and all that stuff. So you've got people like me, tons of people like me, that would like Franklin and Spring Hill already has to set up. You buy the can, so buy a little waste management recyclable can. So like, just like my trash can that sits outside, they pick up trash here on Wednesdays. They can pick up the recycling on like Thursdays or whatever. Charge you for like, you know, their can or whatever,
Right.
and then instead of doing this trash tax, or just keep that for however
Right.
whatever, and then make money on recycling, because there's so many like eco-friendly people here that would want to do that. You know, I mean,
And like, if you ask
It's
someone
not an option.
in the Dickson County Sanitization Board, if you ask them about it, they'll say, well, the biggest reason why it's expensive, why trash is expensive, is because you're paying the fuel cost of them to truck the trash out of county to Benton County.
yeah,
If it is that true, which I find it laughable, because Hickman County, they have a trash tax. It's $90 a year. Why is our trash so much more expensive to truck than that? You know, it just does not make sense.
yeah,
Things like that. Plus, we make the most money off of cardboard, plastic, aluminum. Not necessarily in that order, but they do accept all of them.
Yeah.
Not to mention, there's like a furniture bin out at Cumberland Furnace. There's several other ones that take furniture. A scrap metal bin. I mean, just huge. Full. People throw axles to cars. I mean, everything in there.
It's just insane.
But you will see that paper box, the flattened box.
And we're live again! Sorry about that.
I bored your camera to death.
Don't camera's like, quit it.
Quit talking about trash.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, we make all kinds of money off of recycling, plus charge people tipping fees for when they go to the landfill and do demolition work and all that stuff. We charge them for it.
Yeah.
Even if they pay the $10 fee. So you cannot tell me that place is not getting all kinds of money. And
They are.
supposedly the electric department handles the billing of the fee for free.
Yeah.
They say they do not get 1 penny
Really?
from handling the trash tax, which I find kind of strange. I mean, honestly, a business like that's going to take care of it for free. I mean, that's mighty white owned.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know,
Why would they do that?
Yeah.
You know,
I feel like
come on.
one thing
Seriously.
that's kind of just, I think, confused a lot of people is like, didn't the tax begin around the time of that whole, like, the county got sued
the
for that?
lawsuit.
So that's a lot of where the confusion comes from.
It did
we
because
really
when
don't
it
know.
first was getting cooked up, there were so many stories. Like even from the mayor would be like, "Well, it's going to help the jail," but no, you can't do that. Okay, well, it's going to do this and that. Okay, well, now it's going to make the landfill self-sufficient. That's what they finally. That was their concrete landing. Not to handle the lawsuit. So when you pay your property tax at the time, 2.5% of that went to the landfill. This is before the fee, before the suit and all that. Once they got sued, they said, well, okay, we will make the standalone fee, and thusly freeing up the 2.5% from the property tax to pay for the lawsuit.
Yeah.
So it is not actually every citizen paying for the lawsuit. It's only property tax, property owners. So those people are the ones getting screwed.
Yeah.
It is because the county and city got sued over which was definitely deserved to. I mean, it was definitely discrimination. It was a form of racism. They only got letters to the white families. They didn't get a letter out to black families. So a lot of them were getting sick from that contaminated water.
Wow.
oh my God.
That's why they got sued. And I mean, rightfully so. I mean, I hope that it took a chunk out of them where the next time we're in that position that we will actually notify everyone no matter what color. But
So
really,
messed up.
it is. And you can look on the internet and
God.
there's all kinds of things that talks about environmental racism, and Dickson, Tennessee's right there on it.
Seeing that, like with the recycling
could have been
program or
avoided.
something.
Oh, it
All of
absolutely
all
could.
of it. It's so crazy.
And now the burden to pay for the lawsuit is the property tax holder. So anybody that owns land or business or any kind of property tax that they pay, that 2.5% is going to the lawsuit. You are paying for the lawsuit, but everybody's paying for the landfill together.
Yeah. So I think
Which is still
that's the first I've ever heard that, man.
God.
So I think there's so many people that are
freaking
like,
nuts, man.
I mean,
It'll
a lot of people
blow
watch
some
this
people's
and
minds,
something-
and people just, oh no, it's still. I'm like, yes, we are paying for it, but it's not the fee. It's already in your taxes. They freed that portion up. So they could do that.
So they're technically getting more than that $10 a
Oh.
month for sure then on that 2% property tax.
Well, and you imagine, I think they said in 8 years the lawsuit would be paid for, the actual monies that was awarded to the families. But, I mean, who knows? Some chick stole my car when I was a young man. I got $1,000 in restitutions, and I've never seen one penny from it. Ever.
Are you serious?
Went to court and everything in Rutherford County, and never ever got any kind of check notification. I called her PO, and she was like, "Well, good luck. My daughter got the crap beat out of her, and I sued for medical, and I haven't seen crap."
Wow.
I was like, "Whoa!" And you're a police, you're a probation officer.
Yeah.
Well, and they're not going to help you. They certainly are going to.
God.
Morgan and Morgan.
Yeah. Those commercials are the worst, dude, because the guy's like,
Morgan,
my name
Morgan,
is John Morgan, Morgan, and Morgan.
Oh, Bart.
It's like Morgan 50 times.
Bart is full of crap. There's that one commercial where it's like, yeah, I was just walking through the neighborhood, and it's clearly the poorest black neighborhood in Nashville, and he's just like, I was just strolling through here with my veneers.
Like the crypt keeper, dude. He scares the guy.
You were so full of crap.
Yeah.
I know you don't take a straw down there. Yeah. But that man is a local celebrity. I have to give it to him. He's got some star power.
Yeah.
He could probably run for governor of Tennessee, and people would vote for him just because they've seen so many of his commercials.
I think if he had the girl from Grumpy's Bill Bonding too, like if those two somehow on the cabinet together, I think they'd win. They'd sweep the nation. Yeah.
I like the idea of that.
Yeah.
Maybe you put me on to some little peon duty. Like, listen, it was my idea that you get in this gig. All right, don't forget, put me on one of your commercials. If I gotta hold my arm or whatever, I'll do it.
Yeah. That's Bryant. Morgan and Morgan and Morgan and Morgan.
Vote for me, 3rd district.
Yeah.
County commissioner.
Oh yes. Man, I think our GoPro's probably on the verge of exploding right now, but
Hot tea on that guy.
Yeah. Well, man, I've learned so much in just this little bit of time. Like, seriously.
It was my pleasure.
I've learned a lot. So
That's
awesome.
one of the main big points of this podcast. Me and John talked about it. We wanted to get on here and talk to people about stuff and learn stuff while we're talking to people. Have normal conversations, you know.
Sure.
I mean, this is just like normal conversation anyway.
Absolutely.
And we just wanted to learn as much as we could. And then now the people watching it are probably just like us.
Yeah.
And they don't know stuff that's going on. And they've learned everything like we have. And it's a win-win for everyone.
Tattooed folks can figure out stuff.
Yes.
They're not all miscreants and rapists.
Yeah. Well, I mean, well, man, so we always try to end it on like a positive note. Do you have like some positive message you'd like to get out there, or do you have anything you'd like to really say, even about your running or?
Whatever it is that you want to do, you should go after it. No matter if people are telling you, like, no, don't, it won't work, you won't win, you won't pull through. You should just do it. Just for the sake of saying you did it.
Yeah,
I mean, for real, just don't be afraid. Don't let people's reservations hold you back. Be yourself, whether it's spiritually, career, whatever. Just figure out what works for you. Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that, dude.
I mean, what was that? There was a saying, it was like, if you're going to fail at something, it might as well be something that you want to do.
Absolutely.
Instead of doing something that you don't want to do for the rest of your life,
And yeah, if it's from the heart, man, the spirit will soar. So, hell, what's it going to hurt? I mean, nothing. Who hasn't lost?
Dude, in a sense, could you imagine where you'd be at right now if you didn't get that neck tattoo and you didn't leave Applebees?
Man, where would I be?
Maybe possibly still Applebee's.
Probably still trying to mack it at Applebee's. Be like this balding middle-aged man. Like, I used to be something here, you know.
Now
People
you
used to want to be around me.
Heck yeah. I freaking love that, dude. That's freaking awesome that you just like, and a lot of people will take stuff like that, like, I got laid off in this job. My life is over. I'm just defeated. But you just
It's only but begun, my friend.
Yeah, man. Yes.
There was a story that I remember. I know this is kind of applies to it, but it was like, it's called the horse story. I don't know if you've ever heard it.
Horse or horror?
Horse.
Okay.
Horse. No, the horse story. And like, I'm probably gonna butcher this, but essentially, there was a man who, hold on, let me think about this really quick. There's a man who owned a horse, and he had a neighbor that would always try and tell him, what was right or what was wrong. Oh God, like, one day his horse was like it ran away or something, and the neighbor was like, "Oh God, your horse ran away. What are you gonna do? And your life is going crappy, you know." And the guy's like, "I don't know what's good or what's bad. You never know." And the next day, the horse comes back with a whole flock of horses. And the neighbor's like, "Yes, your life is going awesome." And the guy was like, "Nah, you know, what's good or what's bad?" Right. And then the next day, the man's son was trying to break in one of the new horses, falls off the horse and breaks his leg. The neighbor's like, "What are you gonna do? Your best worker, your son, has hurt his leg. Now he can't do anything."
Yeah.
Well, that night, the army recruiters came to the guy's house and was gonna
like draft him
into the military, and he couldn't because his son broke his leg. So the neighbor's like, "Your life's going great," you know. And the guy's like, "You know, who knows what's good or what's bad?" So like, if you look at that whole story, anything in your life could be considered good or bad. It just depends on how you do it, how you take it yourself.
Definitely your perception, for sure.
Because you never know what is good or what's bad unless you try and make something good out of something bad.
Absolutely. So keep on keeping on.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, look, man, when you win, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get a tattoo somewhere from you. You gotta give me something, I don't know.
Represent the 3rd district.
Yes. I'll just get a big 3 on my chest somewhere, okay? And then I'll be like, it could be an Earnhardt 3 or it could be a 3rd district.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Yes, gotta make it happen.
Oh, that's funny.
It was good times.
Yes.
We'll have to get you back on here.
Absolutely. When I'm official, too.
Yeah,
that'd be so awesome.
Yes.
The race has been done. It has been done. God, I've never had to pay so many people in my life.
Man, I'm telling you, look, cupcakes are bartering tools, man.
Absolutely. A sweet treat for something to eat. Come on.
Yeah.
Listen to a fat man spiel for about 10 minutes.
You say something that everybody wants to hear from their district, so I'm stoked. But, well, all right, brother. So, anybody come vote? When is voting?
July the 13th through the 26th, and then election day, which is the last day to vote, is August the 2nd. And if you're not registered to vote, you can online. And the deadline is July the 3rd, which is actually my birthday, so don't forget. Last day to vote is on Dutch's birthday.
It's a birthday request.
Yes. July 3rd. Especially if you live in my district, you better register.
Yes. Nice. So until then, you can check him out. Come out to Lotus. Get a tattoo. He does amazing work.
Tuesday through Saturday. I'm there.
There you go.
Heck yeah.
Yes. Well, man, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much. It was awesome.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
I enjoyed myself.